Councilmember Amanda Anderson. Councilmember Anita Anderson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Chu. Councilmember Ford. Councilmember James. Councilmember Williams. Town Administrator here, Chief of Police, represented by Corporal Jackson. Okay. Neighborhood Supervisor is not here, Town Attorney not here, Town Clerk not here. And currently it's 7:10 PM on October the 10th, October the 6th. It's a work session.
in the procurement policy manual that our town administrator would be responsible for creating, as it states in our current one anyway. So it said that the manager shall issue such governing purchasing procedures. So that was still applied, but it will be documented in our resolution for review. And so that sums up, in addition to that, ordinance does correct or update the language in terms of manager or making it town administrator. And that sums it up. Thank you.
Sure, Councilman, sure. I think we need to probably really spend some time going through this ordinance because, my only assumption is I don't think it's good for one person or one council person to make decisions on changing the, spending limits for our town administrator. I think we as a whole, as a team, as a council should all come together and decide on whether or not we want to increase, decrease, or whatever. I don't think that one person should make that decision. Because as a team, we should come together. I may say, well, I don't want 25,000. Why can't we extend it to 50,000? Why does he or she need a $50,000 limit? What kind of contracts are we giving authority to? Are we giving authority to only contracts in operations? Are we giving authority to contracts for initiatives when the council and the mayor have initiative and that TA has the ability to sign off on the contract? So I think we need to really sit down and determine where our purchasing limits are as a team and not just one person. And also, this will be a charter change, so it does need to go to our town attorney to make sure that he reads it and check for legal languages before we can even do anything. I yield. Anyone else? What's from you? I thought I was on the impression we did discuss the spending limit even from the previous town administrator, and these were the figures that we discussed at that room. Yeah. But we don't have to do anything. This was forward. I'm just going to. Anybody else?
Councilman Ford? Yes, I do want to chime in and also add that we did discuss $2,500 before as the purchasing limit for our town administrator. So no further discussion will be required. But I do want to encourage the council to give clarity to the council that there is no charter change needed. There was an ordinance. I brought this up plenty of times. I have brought to the council another resolution in terms of how we need to move forward, so that we will not stop anything that we're doing, but so that we can make sure that we're in compliance with what we're doing. We do want to make sure that our town administrator has the flexibility needed and has the authority needed so that we can continue to have the town moving forward. Currently, we put our town administrator at a very bad position, having her to continue to make purchases on our behalf or any initiative for any contract, anything that's against the ordinance, which it will be against the ordinance if it is above $1,000 for regular purchasing and above $1,500 for contracts. So when I say contracts, it could be for our current initiatives, or it can be whatever, any contract, it applies to our contracts. And so this is a work session. So we're able to sit here and discuss it. If the amount needs to change, then we can discuss the amount changing. But if you look at other municipalities, they're pretty much around the same thing, 5,000 and 25,000. And so that's pretty much what we're spending, how we're operating now. So I thought that would be very reasonable in terms of the ordinance, the amount. And again, I did ask that the attorney review, and if there was anything that council needed to be aware of, if it was some recommendation from the attorney, to definitely bring it to the mayor and council so that we can make whatever amendments or edits needed for this ordinance. But the same way we do any ordinance, we have the individual to present it. If that area of expertise or the lane that we've given that council member authority in to have leeway and bring to the council, that's what we do. Speaking of public safety, ordinances have been brought forth for stop sign, for speed cameras. So we're not talking about, we're not going to the attorney. Councilman Chambers said it's been brought here. If there's not been questions, because we all agree that we need to have that for the safety of our residents. So the same as this, we want to make sure as the finance chair, I'm not just doing anything to doing it. It's something that needs to happen, and I've been definitely talking to mayor and council about it throughout the term, that we need to make a change or we need to adhere to our ordinance. So we are moving forward. We have a lot of great initiatives that we want to continue forward in. We have a lot of construction initiatives that we're moving forward in. So we want to make sure that we are in compliance and not in violation or creating misdemeanors for ourselves. Thank you.
I was just going to say that I'm listening to everybody. I don't think it's, we have a whole bunch of ordinances that need to be updated, not just this, a whole bunch of them. To be true, a whole bunch. And I think Councilman and Anita and Mayor Pro Tem have been working on that effort, so it's a whole bunch. But you also need to understand the format. You're either going to have to, this is an ordinance by itself, whereas the ordinance, the body, as bad as it looks, the ordinance body is done differently than the separate ordinance. I mean, so that's something we need to look at too, is what type of, if we're going to update the ordinance, what type of format are we going to put them in? Because this is like a separate ordinance that is really just doing away with this one. So this becomes not an amendment. This is like a separate ordinance. I assume that's what you want to do.
No, that's not what it reads.
No, I'm just telling you what you got.
That's not what it reads for ordinance.
Okay, so otherwise, it's just changes to the ordinance that's already in the town body. Is that right?
Well, I just read what was in the
Yeah, I
town,
looked
and
at
it's
that.
very short, and it's out of date. It's not what we're currently practicing.
Uh-huh.
So what the ordinance I'm providing is to provide with more clarity. It also provides tiers to help with the monitoring. It increases the town administrative spending as well as gives us some framework in terms of how we do our contracts that are large contracts.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is basically, I'm not saying nay, I'm just saying, the question is, I'm looking at it. This is basically revising what we have in here already. It's revising it.
It's revising one section of it, and that is the one section.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It basically should be a revision to the ordinance that we already had.
And it does, it is a
Okay,
revision.
yeah, okay, I'm just, because it doesn't say that. So I'm trying to understand what this is, because this is, it's just a new ordinance. It's not a revision to what we already have. That's not what this says. So,
Maybe I would like to read it. Let me read the word.
no, I already, just,
No, I'd like to read it more because we haven't read it.
I have the floor.
Okay. I understand. Get clarity, that's.
Okay, I got you. So what I'm saying is, I don't, I'm trying to stick to even in a, well, no work session, we're more free flowing, that's true, we're right, we're not published. But we don't wanna beat it to pieces, so I'm just trying to let some other people chime in what their thoughts are. And, because to my knowledge, the attorney didn't review it, so George didn't mention anything about that, the attorney reviewing it, so that's a good request. But normally, it's the input, which is why we're in a work session. I got you. So what people don't agree with, they can edit. What they think you should change, they can edit. It's an introduction, I understand. So, but I'm just saying, on behalf of the town and the town documents and everything else, this is only one of many that we need to work on and get straight. So let somebody else take the floor that hasn't spoken, and you too, I'm just trying to be fair now, everybody.
Councilmember Van,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like for Councilmember Chu to explain what charter changes she said that need to take place. Because as I'm reading the ordinance, you don't see an actual charter changes, I do see the changes to the form of ordinance. So she'd be able to provide us more clarity on that statement that she made, that would be helpful to understand her perspective. The only thing I'm having a hard time with the wording for the new spending authority. That seems a little confusing. When it gets down to the third sentence here. The town administrator shall negotiate contracts necessary for operation or maintenance of the town services for amounts up to and including 5,000. He shall receive competitive bids for purchase or contracts in excess of 25,000. Presented to the town council for approval, second. What I'm thinking the intent is between, because I heard Councilmember Ford say between 5,000 and 25,000, we would have competitive quotes. But this to me, unless I'm reading it wrong, is saying in the purchase of contracts in excess of 25,000. So I feel like the wording would just need to change to the excess is what's catching me off guard, if I'm making sense. But other than that, I think the spending authority and the financial controls are very important for the town. I think that as we're operating now, there's a lot of ambiguity and there is a lot of things that need to take place, that need to happen. And the current setup really restricts our town administrator from moving forward. But we also want to make sure that we're keeping proper checks and balances and doing what we've been elected to do to ensure that our money is being spent correctly and wisely. So I'm thankful that we're working on this, and I'm hopeful that during our work sessions, this is the time to express if you have any differences in the amounts or the ways, this is the time that we work that out and do what we're to do today. Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else on this thing?
Councilman Chu, we said this is a amendment to the ordinance that was already passed.
What ordinance?
Okay,
No, so that's- no, I didn't say it. I said it is a revision of ordinance 2, section 204. To its cost, 204. Yeah. In that section, yes. 204, revision, and it is in section.
is this it right here?
What I just read, section 9.
Oh, is this? That was the interesting thing.
That's. It's two, yeah, well, it's 204. 204 right here. Yeah, and then it's. I.
Okay, so it's still $1,500. So where's the 25, and maybe where's the $25,000 coming in? I don't see that.
It's right. It's like contract or something. Yeah.
Seven point seven.
So, are you still have the floor?
I'll yield for someone else until we find it.
Which is.
Councilwoman. It's the
It's
seventh
not
line.
charter, it's the ordinance.
It's the seventh line,
It's the.
line number 7.
We have to say this.
So, I think what we have here is we're gonna have to do this. This is a big deal, as I see certain things taken out. What happened to removal of office? Is the bonding in here?
Okay, so,
The money? I'm just asking you.
yes, I'm just going again,
You can tell me. Pastor.
yeah, so I'm just doing section 204. So this is legal, and so if you go to section I, it's not the full, not changing the entire Article 2 outside of the name change from from town manager to town administrator. That deals with all of 2. But what I'm updating is 204. That's the only thing that we're concentrating on. The updates, section 204. Sorry. So Article 1, Section 2, 204, and it's I, what I just read. It's right here. This is the ordinance. This is our current ordinance. It's right. Only thing is this section. It's the only section.
So to those 4 pages, we're adding 4 more pages.
Well, to that one paragraph, we are, what we're doing is, it's not, so when you. Yeah, so.
No. So she's got, yeah, so the distance here, and so this is her. She wrote a whole ordinance. That's what I'm trying to say. So this ordinance, a lot of the stuff from this original one is not in here. That's why I asked her, is this supposed to be a revision?
Right, it's a revision of I,
That's what I'm trying to say.
and also you adding P. And your, aura. But it's not taking anything out, that's
So
in there.
you would add all this to this. That's my, yeah, so if you're not taking anything out of an existing
Correct.
ordinance, you have to be adding to it. And so what you do, a revision is you can totally delete, that's a revision, that. Amendment is not deleting, it's only adding to something. So
You're
that's why I
amending it,
asked you.
changing.
So you are revising it.
So it's the new and amended subsections, I, P, Q, and aura. It's just in the ordinance, it's like,
No, I'm reading it. I'm seeing what is here, and then I'm seeing, administration and government, that's what this is. This is chapter 2, this is chapter 2. Section 204, I got you. Okay, so here, so,
subsection I.
gotcha, so that's 2. So all this other stuff is staying, and then we go to something you was showing me. Okay. Where the money is. Okay, so now we're going, all of this. In section 201, so we got 201 here. Okay, you're checking, see, 201, 214, 520. She's got a lot of sections here.
So it's just one section that we're talking about, subsection, a subsection I.
Now, hold on here.
It's only 20.
Yeah, I'm just reading fast, okay?
So that's your whereas, giving you history. So the actual change is coming, if you go into your peers, ordinance.
I think, yeah, I think, and she said what it is now, and she wants to amend it to say that we can see the money. And then the town change the town, okay, so it's the money. Okay, so, so here's what I'm going with this. So we went from 203 to 204. Okay, so you changed the whole section, which is roughly 4 pages.
It's because adding, so we have, and subsections,
Yeah.
P, Q, and R.
That's 4 pages. Okay, here's what I suggest. I
Yes.
suggest so that we can move on. And we're gonna have to do this and compare it with the paragraphs. So let's start reading a couple paragraphs now and compare it. In all fairness to Councilman Ford, because just like this, it's. And also an attorney does need to look at it.
Councilman, we have town administrator to speak in terms of the attorney.
Yes, he is actually reviewing it and he'll respond with like edits and comments. Yeah,
Forward to the beginning of September, I was very clear with mayor and council as well as TA. We came back 2 weeks later, wasn't on the agenda for the second reading. You said when we left the first time that we will read it thoroughly, and we will come back with any questions, and then we will move forward. So we are a month later, the attorney is just getting it, and I talked to TA 2 weeks ago, last week. So I just want to know why the attorney is just getting this resolution when we have the attorney reviewing everything else and other ordinances. No,
I didn't know. So
I would assume that what we're going to bring forth, the attorney has reviewed. Right? I was told,
I didn't keep up with your ordinance, so I truly didn't know. Because he does that, I didn't know. So I'm saying that considering, I understand what you're saying, but my point is, logically speaking, there's a whole lot of them that need to be changed, a whole lot of ordinances. And since all of us from 4, so 2 of you have been on here 7 years. I've been on here just as long, because I was the same ordinance when I was back to us, so I'm putting myself in the same group. So I'm saying it's no problem in us taking a little time to review this thoroughly, so everybody's on the same page. That's all I'm saying. I think that's what, has been said, by at least one council person. It's on the work session now, so I'm saying we start reviewing these paragraphs and keep it moving. Going back and forth is not.
Yeah, I know what our
That's all.
request was, is that we'll put on the work session that we can move forward to the second reading. And so that was a month's time.
Well, this is not your second reading.
This is the second reading.
This is a work session.
The second reading will be in a special meeting, because it is a special meeting coming after.
But that's not on the agenda.
But that's what I would request, if you go back to the minutes, so go back to the recordings, you would see that. And I said, okay, because you said, okay, Councilman Ford, can we move into a work session? I said, sure, and after that work session, we move it for the second reading. And you said, okay, in all fairness.
Absolutely. So I see, where the clarity for me is. So this whole section, section I, has been revised to update the spending limits, and it just added a little more, control mechanisms in the, ordinance. So, and it's actually, up to date with some of the stuff that we do now and some of the stuff that we have to do from an accounting, excuse me, perspective. So, that explains this good. I understand it now, because I thought we were actually changing what was in the charter. But we're not, we're just changing what's in the ordinance.
You're gonna have to figure out a way, because you have an existing document, which has 3 or 4 pages before it, that is not attached to this revision. So this itself, the document is not done correctly.
It's done correctly because I'm only,
Please, Lord, don't do that. I have the floor. I have the floor. I'm not talking about the write-up. I'm saying that, I'm saying this should have been attached some kind of way. Because this is your only, and whatever you wanted, take it out. Because your pages have to go with a revision. You just have a blank revision that is not attached to your original document. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
and I'm trying to clarify that the section that
Yeah.
I am amending is in the ordinance. You probably have read over it, but it is in the ordinance because this is what I request every time we have an ordinance, which we do not usually have in there, but we pass it forward and it's never mentioned.
We just took the floor. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this is a document, this is a document. Each speaks for itself. What has to be done? When you want to present a revision, you have to put the whole thing together and present the revision. What you got is fine. This is fine. But this, you've got 3 or 4 pages, not 4, not the page you edited. But you've got pages, you've got a separate ordinance that does not include, you just you have the whereas. But you have a separate ordinance that does not give the reading of what's already in the document.
Why would I reference that in this ordinance when it has no relevance? In terms of what we're amending is the spending authority. And so I have that in there. I have subsection I of section 204 written verbatim. I have it in here in the ordinance. Do you see this here?
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'm sorry.
Respect, does anybody understand what I'm saying?
Councilwoman Jordan.
Yes.
I'm just, Councilwoman Chu. I don't know, are you asking to, attach the original ordinance to the new ordinance? Because she does, outline the sections that will change, the provisions that will change in the front of the ordinance. So are you asking her to just put something in here, see addendum, and this is the addendum?
Here is the format of the ordinance. Okay, does everybody understand? It's the format of the ordinance we have here. This is in the form
Oh, I see.
of this ordinance, okay? You just cannot have a separate document and have your full ordinance package with this. So what you have to do is make this inclusive with this. which means that's a revision.
I see what she's
When you
saying.
revise something, you have to revise the whole document. And no, and that's, yes, you do.
We have approved how many ordinances? And how many
I'm
have come across our
telling you.
desks with that?
I didn't know we did sidewalks revision, so I'm just making.
We had three, four, two ordinances, because what you're saying, Mayor,
Please,
Mayor.
Board, please let me finish. I let you talk for like 12 minutes and I still didn't bother you.
But this,
So you have that right.
So this is the intention there, now,
You can take it up to me.
okay,
You can take it, sure. So all I'm trying to say is, when you revise something, I'm telling you the right way to do it. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. The right way to do it. Revision 1, revision 2, you revise the whole document. You don't take a section and it's just hanging out there, and then you got the other document. This document still exists. It still exists. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, no, just do it. I'm saying, I'm not saying against this one. I'm saying you have to revise the whole document. I'm just, and I don't, point blank, I do this. I know this is how it goes. So. Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
I'm just trying to make.
So just to make it clear, so what you're saying is, in the original ordinance, this is section I. So if she removes this piece out, this section I, and just input her section I with this and all of this information in there, that covers it. That's all she's saying to do.
She has to put somewhere in
Because
there.
this can't be, what she's saying is this can't be a single document. She's saying to include it in the original ordinance, that's all.
this is codified, so no, this goes with the town administrator, this is after everything's codified, then you'll see this format. So just like you see this right here, this wasn't, when you had these ordinances done, it was a whole totally different format. It was like a whereas, be it further ordained for every one of these sections.
So when it's codified, that's when you
That's
add
what-
it in.
That's when it will be added in
Okay,
after.
that's what the mayor's saying.
But that's not when it needs to go into this ordinance. I mean, if you look at previous ordinance on the online and on website,
They're a mess, they're not something.
no,
Something bad.
well, we have a whole,
We
we have a whole list of ordinances, but you don't have to take a whole section of our ordinance and attach it to an amendment to a subsection. It's just not necessary to do.
No, she's not saying that.
She said you have to take this whole section and attach it. That's what you just explained.
No. I just said something different.
Okay, you said.
Okay, here. So what the mayor is saying is, in our ordinances, only thing she's saying is now, when we go to look up, when this ordinance go through and passes, now when we look at our ordinance, this ordinance, all of this stuff is going to be here except this right here. The I is going to be gone and it's going to be replaced with your information. You see what I'm saying? So I is going to be replaced here, all of this information. All of
This
this
is currently in
information.
the ordinance. This is the
Okay, but it's going to be removed.
actual
And then-
codification.
Right, and then we're
Well,
going
what's
to
the
replace all of your information in that section.
Right, same thing we have to do for all the ordinances.
Yeah,
Once it's codified.
Yeah, that's
You'll
all.
see stop sign, you'll see,
yeah, so that's what she's saying. That's all she's saying. That's what I get from it. I don't know. I hear.
It's a revision. You have to have, it's a revision.
Can we read it? Councilman Ford, and council members. How, Councilman Sue just explained it is correct. However, when she changes her wording into the I section, at the bottom, it has to be noted revised, RSED, whatever. When it becomes.
Yeah, that's done then.
You have to have it revised with the month, the year.
I don't do that. Downtown administrator does that. So how it's normally done during the codification process, that's how it's done.
I'd like to see one that's been codified and see how it looks, because that hers was done too. Any other ordinances that we've done?
Nothing is better.
Nothing? Ooh.
We got a copy of our.
Okay, I'd like to see what that looks like. If that's your screen, I'd like to see what it looks like.
Councilmember, the codifying is really an administrative task that takes, a few minutes to do. We spend a lot of time talking about that. I'm about around clarity that that's what would happen. I'm asking Mayor Council if we can use this time wisely to just read through these changes, make sure that everyone's good with the changes, and if there's any input to those changes, then now is the time that it's voiced. And I'm happy to do the reading. I think.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Williams,
Yes, sir.
based on what the TA says, she says to our attorney, I would like to see the attorney's, comments in his legal time on the document. You shaking with me?
No, I'm talking to concern, Councilman James, I apologize. Sorry, apologize.
All right, so you got, two things on the floor. You got Councilman Amanda saying she wants to proceed with the reading, of the new paragraphs, the additional paragraphs, and you got Councilman Williams says he thinks the attorney should look at this first period and give us the feedback.
Councilmember Newman.
Yes, ma'am.
The attorney is not going to make the recommendations for your analysis. Those are decisions that the council makes. So we can do both. There's not that we don't have the other. While we're here right now, we can just read through 2.5 pages of the changes. And just like we've done other changes with our charter or our personnel manual, if you have something, make a note of it and we can talk about it and make decisions. And that way we can actually get some progress on this. Yeah.
And then send it to the attorney for legal. Yeah, we can do that, but you come back, I'd like to see the attorney.
Right.
Okay, okay, so this is, okay, so we have to, for me. Okay, Councilman Amanda, you want to start reading?
Sure, I start on
We'll start,
page 3.
yeah, is that, subsection 2-204?
The top of the new and amended subsection
Yeah.
shall read as follows. Unless you want me to read the original one first.
Oh, no, okay, I got you. Councilman Needles told me like 30 times. Okay,
All right. The new and amended subsections I, P, Q, and R shall read as follows. I, spending authority. The town administrator shall have authority to authorize purchase of supplies and equipment not to exceed $2,500 as appropriated by the town council. The town administrator shall supervise the purchase of all materials, supplies, and equipment for which funds are appropriated by the town council. The town administrator shall negotiate contracts necessary for operations or maintenance of town services for amounts up to and including $5,000. He shall receive competitive bids for purchases or contracts in excess of $25,000 and present them to the town council for approval and advise the town council on the advantages or disadvantages of contract and bid proposal. He may place a refundable deposit on an item pending the acceptance of the mayor and council. However, the deposit shall not constitute a binding commitment. No purchases shall be made, contract let, or obligations incurred for any item or service which exceeds the current budget appropriation without a supplemental appropriation by the town council. No contract in excess of $25,000 and no contract for new construction shall be let except by the town council. The town administrator shall issue such rules governing purchasing procedures which shall be reviewed and updated periodically and approved by the mayor and town council. Pause if there's any comments.
Councilwoman Weaver. Yes, ma'am. Real quick. I see, I noticed in the old one too, it did reference as he, and Councilwoman Ford reference as he. Can we, when the first part like this, where it says town administrator on the first sentence, do a parentheses and put TA and take out those he's and say TA, because a TA may be a female as we have one now. Councilwoman Ford. I knew.
Okay, well, you can just make notes and we'll come back to you in a second.
Councilman Ford? Okay. You said okay to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in the general provisions of our ordinance in chapter 1, article 1, it says gender, words importing masculine gender shall include the feminine and neuter. So it gives that in the general provisions.
Okay, continue to move on.
Yeah, I had a question here. Okay, no, go ahead, that's okay. I'll come back to it.
Continuing on, 1, competitive quotes. For contracts from 5,001 to 25,000, the town administrator shall obtain a minimum of 3 competitive quotes and present them to the town council for approval. 2, exception to the competitive quotes, contracts from $5,001 to $25,000 may be approved by a majority vote of the mayor and council on a case-by-case basis under the following justifiable circumstances. A, sole source procurement, when the good or service is only available from a single vendor or provider. B, public emergency, to prevent an immediate threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. C, specialized expertise, when the services required are of a professional or technical nature and the specific expertise is unique to one or a limited number of vendors. D, intergovernmental agreement, when a good or service is being procured through an existing contract with another government. Town administrator shall provide a written justification for the need to waive this requirement to the mayor and council for the review prior to any such vote. Stop for any comments or questions.
I was just gonna say the beginning, we're gonna, the beginning has to be edited. It just has to be edited. We're gonna bring it up to date. The paragraphs preceding the rest of this have to be edited. Go ahead, Councilman. That's a thought.
Now on to subsection P, requirements for purchases and service agreements. To ensure clarity and protect the town's interests, all purchases of goods and agreements for services shall be documented based on the spending period established in subsection I. This shall include, but not limited to, the following. 1, certificate of liability. All vendors performing services for the town of Capitol Heights shall be required to provide a valid certificate of liability insurance in accordance with standards established by Prince George's County. This requirement is a mandatory part of any contract or service agreement and must be maintained for the duration of the project. 2, licensing and permits. All contractors and subcontractors shall be required to provide proof of all necessary licensing permits as required by Prince George's County, Maryland, and any other applicable state or federal law. It is the responsibility of the primary contractor to ensure all permits are obtained for the work being performed. 3, clarification of agreement types. For the purpose of this section, a written agreement for amounts up to $5,000 is an informal, legally binding document. A formal written contract for amounts over $5,001 is a more comprehensive and detailed legal document that includes all terms and conditions of the engagement. Stop for any questions or thoughts.
Certificate of liability. This is gonna put a big damper on certain events that are held in this town. And certain, and for services of people who have been used in this town. They're not gonna provide for independent people. They're not gonna have a certificate of liability. I'm telling you that right off. So when you have people who are your DJs, I'm just making this up, I'm just saying your DJs, some of your other type of just performers, I'm not talking about your vendors. It says all vendors So vendors can include a lot. So are you just saying vendors for food vendors? Because you have the word contract in here. So that's kind of confusing to me. Want to keep reading? We can come back to the actions.
Councilmember Amanda.
Yeah, you can come back. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a quick comment about that too. It does say in accordance with standards established by Prince George's County. So I'm wondering, I mean, the county has, there are certain things that you do have to have, a certificate of liability insurance. That the county requires, but that it's not comprehensive to everything. So I'm wondering if that's helpful with what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what's in here. So. Yeah,
It's a standard principle of county. Should we own it?
yeah, but no, well, yeah, that's a tricky one. I'm just telling you, because you have to understand that everybody and everything, that's why I just use Capitol Heights Day, for example. Everybody there that performs or whatever, or they're not gonna have that. That's just something you're gonna have to think about. I'm just saying that these are things, food for thought. That's why we're reading that.
Also, Prince George's County doesn't always require every.
Yeah, so, or we would have to put, something in there that is more clarified. So this is just an X, I'm just saying we'll come back to it. No one, yeah.
I have a question. Councilwoman Shu.
Oh, this one.
For clarification, it says that.
Yeah.
I thought you did it. She did it. She.
I want to read through that.
No, right here, 3, clarification of. So for the purpose of this section, it says a written agreement for amounts up to $5,000 is an informal legal binding document. Even though it's written, it's an agreement, that's not considered a contract.
Just what Dia is able to do an invoice, purchase order.
Well, we don't, okay,
Sure.
okay, those examples,
Mhm.
okay, all right. I'm doing, are you? Is it possible that we could put example purchase orders,
Put it out there. We're going to, we gotta go into nothing. Say you would want to read these 3 paragraphs, you would, that right there is where you, I'm just using that as something you do want your attorney to look at.
Okay, moving on to Q, procurement and financial controls. The town administrator shall establish a procurement management policy by resolution to ensure proper day-to-day oversight of all transactions and to maintain accountability and an auditable trail for all purchases. 1, general financial controls. All purchases of goods or services, including those made with a town-issued credit card, shall be subject to the spending authority and documentation requirements of this section. This shall apply to all town funds, including grants and other non-budgetary revenue sources, regardless of the alternate source of the funds. A contract of any value that is determined to be high risk shall be reviewed by the town attorney for legal sufficiency before it is executed. Use of a credit card does not supersede the requirement for a valid purchase order, written agreement, or formal written contract as specified in subsection D. 2, high-risk contracts. A contract of any value that is determined to be high risk shall be reviewed by the town attorney for legal sufficiency before it is executed. The town's procurement management policy shall define what constitutes a high-risk contract, which may include but is not limited to contracts involving liability to the town, multi-year obligations, or complex professional services. This policy shall include, at a minimum, procedures for pre-authorization, a system for reconciling expenses, and rules for the issuance and use of town credit cards. Got for any comments or questions?
No, these, yeah. I'm good, everybody good?
All right, moving on to R. Procurement and financial reporting. The town administrator shall provide the mayor and council with the following reports to ensure comprehensive financial oversight. 1, monthly financial and procurement report. Submitted no later than 15 working days after the close of the reporting month. This single report shall include a high-level summary of budget versus actual revenues and expenditures for the month and year to date, an overview of procurement activities within the established spending tiers, and a summary of expenditures from grants and town-issued credit cards. 2, quarterly compliance and high-risk report. Submitted and made available no later than 30 working days after the close of each quarter. This report shall detail compliance with town policies, including any deviations, and provide updates on all high-risk contracts. The quarterly periods are defined and follow, beginning with the town's fiscal year on July 1. Quarter 1 would be July, August, and September. Quarter 2 would be October, November, and December. Quarter 3 would be January, February, and March, and quarter 4, April, May, and June. 3, report dissemination. All reports required under this section shall be provided by the mayor and council in a secure electronic format. This ensures accessibility for all members and aligns with sustainable practices. 4, request for detailed information. The high-level reports provided are intended to be summary. The town administrator shall make all supporting financial documentation and detailed data available to mayor and council upon request for the purpose of further oversight and informed decision-making.
Any question? The monthly financial procurement report, now. TA, I need you here. Okay.
I'm sorry, can you do that again?
Okay, because now we've gotten, this is sort of overlapping. And we know we said we wanted to do quarterlies on the budget.
Yes.
So you're saying, because this, to do this is not the norm. So you're saying we're gonna do a report on the budget. And then we're gonna do a quarterly, both a quarterly compliance and high risk report.
That's contract. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No question.
This is just on contracts. It's just on contracts, right? Yeah, you keep going. I'll come on.
Councilwoman Chu.
Uh-huh.
So when these quarterly reports are done, are these, only for new contracts or existing contracts or what?
So, quarterly compliance and harvest. So this ensure that all contracts are in compliance. In compliance, that should be reported to mayor and council. It should be no surprise to us. And high risk contract should be reported to mayor and council.
What EGIE, what are your high risk reports?
Well, it was just for me.
I saw it.
Risk
I saw it.
So that's it.
But but definitive, what is a high risk contract? Based on, you wrote this, so what is it?
So I'm gonna read this again.
You don't have to read it again.
So that's what it is. And I've told you it's in the document, these are your high risk contracts there. It's several different times. So I can't say specifically.
So it doesn't say specifically, yeah, because,
You have to know
I think that has to be more definitive,
in terms of,
yeah, what it is, because you have,
in section 2, look at 2 under Q. It's right here.
yeah, so, I mean. Okay, okay, so that's what I'm saying. You're saying a contract of any value that is determined to be high risk. That's my point.
And I said,
How-
shall be reviewed by the town
I'm
attorney.
looking at it.
So it shall be reviewed by the town attorney to tell us if it's high risk, like anything else. Like this ordinance. We want it to be reviewed by the attorney.
My question is very clear. How do you determine, let's put it this way, how do you determine which one will go to the attorney?
If it's a liability to the town,
Uh-huh.
multi-year obligations, or complex professional services. Those are the threats
Okay,
identified.
so that's how you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, it said there will not be limited to contracts involved, okay. I understand it, but I'm telling you, to me, if I was reading this, it's ambiguous. So I think that one needs some editing.
Well, also, it's,
We're just going through
I
stuff,
know.
that's all.
but also we're gonna have a little more specifics in the procurement policy. By the town administrator, who I'm sure will work closely with our town administrator, if she chooses to give more detail, but an ordinance gives you, as you are aware, a higher level of scope.
Yeah. There are questions that we're here as a work session. There are questions that are not meant for anyone to talk to the other person as though they don't know what they're saying. It's a question because for me, it's not as comprehensive as it could be. That's all I'm saying. So to me, we're going through this. It needs some editing. That's my comment.
He's gonna explain about 3 pages.
I won't usually. Go ahead, please, Councilwoman Manica.
Further ordained and enacted that the streamlined town operations while maintaining fiscal accountability, the town administrator's authority to make outlays for purchases up to 2,500 and contracts up to 5,000. As defined in subsection I of section 2-204, constitutes approval by the mayor and council in a manner consistent with the town code of ordinance. For all outlays above these thresholds, the town administrator shall obtain approval from the mayor and council by a vote taken at a regular meeting. Be it further ordained and enacted, the mayor and council in this ordinance explicitly delegate to town administrator the authority to develop a comprehensive procurement management policy. This policy shall be adopted by resolution no later than 45 days after this ordinance becomes effective. It will define the specific rules and procedures necessary to implement this ordinance, including 1, a formal definition and review of high-risk contracts, a clear definition of what constitutes a high-risk contract, and a formal process for its review by the town attorney. 2, clear procedures for bidding, standardized requirements for the public advertisement of all formal bids, and the process for receiving and evaluating them. And 3, internal financial controls, the establishment of a system for their segregation of duties to ensure no single person has complete control over a financial transaction from start to finish. And 4, ethical standards, a clear and direct statement that the mayor and council expect all town employees and elected officials to adhere to the highest standards of ethics, integrity, and good stewardship in all financial matters, with zero tolerance for waste, fraud, or abuse. Dr. Thoughts or questions?
Councilwoman Sherman. Councilwoman Sherman, I'm asking that. If anyone has a critique, to be taken for what it's worth and not a form of criticism. We should all be able, we're adults here, we should all be able to take something. It's not always negative. We should be able to accept that without snapbacking at each other, all of us. Councilman Chu?
Just a quick question. For the employee PG that's in a community room. I'm just reading this would maybe considered a, high-risk liability. I was just reading what high-risk liability is. So I'm just trying to give an example because it was asked about an example earlier. So I think that will be considered what we call a high-risk liability. Just want to put that out there. Because it's an outside contracting inside our building.
You?
Yeah, yeah, I was just.
Been from a long time, since I like that.
I was young, yeah, it does.
So we can, again, that can be, Jaren, that's, when he's reviewing it, that type of question can be asked, just what we had said,
Okay.
the liability thing, the high risk liability thing, and the other thing about the certificates of liability based on what's there.
That's not it.
Mhm. It's not a challenge. I was just going by the information that Councilman Amanda said, and I'd like a better understanding myself. So so he's not just reading it to read it. Those are things that, as a council, we want to understand. If that's okay with everybody.
Councilman Jim,
Yes, sir.
yeah, we're dealing with high-risk contracts
Mhm.
and liabilities. Asbestos, lead-based, and those are high risk. But we have to define what is capital-based consideration of high risk. Because that is kind of broad and ambiguous. Just saying high risk, what is high risk? So we have to, I think, by an example, or by example, with the inclusion of these words to be added on to that. So that we do have a marker for identifying what is high risk. So that's, I like to add to that time, yes, identifying high risk.
Just to piggyback on what he was saying as far as how this, even if it was in a, for example, the asbestos. If it's going to be a high risk, because it may be asbestos, that will fall up under our insurance with legit. Yeah. So we'll be covered. So my thought is it's high risk as far as what it is, but it's not high risk. Because we're already covered under legit, under our insurance. Something Councilman Chu just brought up, what she said about the, employee PG. It's my understanding, we fall up under their guidance and guidelines, even though they're housing that machine. Excuse me, in our building. And then it was first brought to us years ago. That is how it was explained. Everything would fall under for Prince George's County. We're just housing the equipment. If anybody was still hurting here, then that would fall under our insurance, like in anything that we have. And still. Councilman Chu, yeah. Yeah, I think for clarity, I think we need to ask what is really considered a high-risk contract, because here it gave me examples of Bowie, city of Bowie, and it stated, external contractors or external services, are considered high risk, high liability contracts or whatever. I think because as Councilman Meady was speaking, I'm thinking anything that's in the building, we're probably covered under legit if something happens. But if a third party contractor comes in, aren't they still covered if something happens? So I'm just, I hear.
Yes, I think it's what general.
But when the contractor's full insurance covered that.
But that's what the whole certificate of liability.
Yeah, that's what we always.
That's why that's.
That's why.
You? That's what I was saying, a high risk contract. Definitive wise. This. That, you see, everybody sounds to me like you're thinking of a high risk contract. I don't want to dwell on this as something where somebody gets hurt. But Councilman Ford has the word like a high risk procurement. That's not, that's, we're talking money and stuff there. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm asking for a stronger definition. So it makes more sense because everybody here now is giving their understanding of what this means, and we're all thinking differently. So that's why, to me, it's ambiguous, and that's not a negative thing. It just needs further clarification before, everyone here is thinking of liability and legit. Legit doesn't deal with procurement. Yeah, so if that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Councilman Amanda Brown.
We talking about people.
I mean, I could just finish the last part of it. Be further ordained and enacted that this ordinance.
Yeah.
That's where you are now.
Okay, be it further ordained and enacted, this ordinance has been introduced at a regular meeting of the mayor and council in accordance with the town charter. As required by section 211A of the town charter, an ordinance may not be passed at the meetings which it is introduced. A fair summary of this ordinance will be published in a newspaper of general circulation in the town at least once prior to the date of this passage, as required by section 211C of the town charter. This ordinance will be passed by an affirmative vote of at least 4 members of the council and in the event of a tie, the mayor. Unless there's an emergency ordinance passed in accordance with section 212 of the town charter, this ordinance shall become effective at the expiration of 20 calendar days following its passage. Be it further ordained and enacted that if the court finds any part of this ordinance to be invalid or unenforceable, the remaining parts of the ordinance shall not be effective and will continue in force. Be it further ordained and enacted that any prior ordinances adopting and enacting any provisions of said code or any other ordinance or resolution previously adopted pertaining to a subject or subjects embodied by the title of this ordinance or the provisions found herein shall be deemed repealed and superseded by the provisions of this ordinance.
Okay, it's me.
Just some small things that I saw, even I know it's just on her ordinance, or her revision of our ordinance, but if we don't change stuff in here, perhaps maybe like on the clerk treasurer, where it has common council, take that common council, but we removed that out of, our personnel manual too. So we need to remove common council out of here. We're gonna do anything with that, you know, you change it, might as well go ahead and change that too. Yes, it's on page 1. And see it anywhere else.
Yeah, it was something. Everybody heard Councilman Meany was saying once we read, although that wasn't on the agenda, the work agenda, too, but you added, well, you gonna edit that, you added what? Well,
It's not ordinance. This one.
okay, well, that, it needs to be edited, you're right. Okay, on that one, it's been read, and, on the floor now is a straw poll, because you know we can't take motions, so the straw poll is, everybody is waiting for the attorney review, is that where we're at to make sure this stuff is okay?
Yes.
No? Oh, okay, Councilman Anita said no, why?
Well,
You don't have to.
well, I mean, yes and no, and I would have to say yes/no. Can Councilwoman Ford, do the edits or changes that has been suggested tonight? And also do this and then send it back over to him. And be done with it, so we don't have to wait for that to come and then,
No, well,
either way, it doesn't.
yeah, well, you would edit it, you would tell us what to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's what, you're gonna pay the same amount of money, so that's just me, you would that way. What she has is fine to me, we just wanna know if that's the way it should read, or can you just make it a little bit more clear, that's all. That's, and more definitive on what high risk is, because,
so if she's sending questions, gonna ask him when they already have.
yeah,
Since she's doing that, then she make these changes and send it over there to him, so he'll have a more cleaner copy. And then change this common stuff to just council, mayor and council. And be done with it. It's not that many changes. That's just my thought.
Anybody else? Okay, so you want the attorney feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, and, okay, attorney feedback. And then at that time for the attorney, Councilman Ford, okay, with the attorney feedback, then we should be able to take it to a second reading. Are we good at public session?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Ford, you got it again.
So this is an ordinance following up on the crosswalk, that we've been working through. So we do not have any type of, ordinance related to our crosswalk. And so, just wanted to incorporate it into our town ordinance. Since we do have crosswalks, in the town. And with the understanding, that it has the same, weight as our Prince George's County already has, same with, anything else. Crosswalks, giving understanding that pedestrians do have the right of way. And so that there are also, fines and fees which are applicable, to Prince George's counties. Fees and fines. No, it's not. It's just. An ordinance to implement and regulate a townwide pedestrian safety and crosswalk plan. Explanatory statement, the purpose of this ordinance is to formally adopt a lasting legal plan for the crosswalk initiative, thereby benefiting the residents and pedestrians of the town of Capitol Heights. While the crosswalks have already been authorized by resolution, this ordinance is a crucial legislative action that codifies them into our local traffic laws, making them a lasting part of our community's permanent traffic code. This provides a permanent and enforceable standard for the crosswalk initiative, thereby strengthening the town's comprehensive commitment to making our community more sustainable. This action directly benefits the residents and pedestrians of the town of Capitol Heights by creating a safer and more walkable community. An ordinance to amend Chapter 8, Article 3, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Code of the Town of Capitol Heights by adding a new section to establish and regulate a comprehensive plan for crosswalks throughout the town. Whereas the Maryland Vehicle Law defines a crosswalk not only as the prolongation of a sidewalk at an intersection, but also as the portion of a roadway distinctly indicated for pedestrian crossing of lines on the surface, which allows the crosswalks to be established on streets that do not have sidewalks. And the town of Capitol Heights, with its unique infrastructure, roadways both with and without sidewalks, finds it necessary to implement marked crosswalks in compliance with Maryland law to create legally defined and safe space for pedestrian crossing. And whereas while the laws of the state of Maryland and Prince George's County govern crosswalks to be differential for the town of Capitol Heights, it exercises authority to provide for local governments and to codify these permanent installations in its own code of ordinances. And whereas the mayor and council are vested with all legislative powers of the town under section 201 of the town charter and have the power to pass and effect ordinances not contrary to the Constitution and laws of the state of Maryland, as immediately necessary for the good government of the town. Whereas the town charter grants the mayor and council power to control and improve all public ways, including the power to grade, straighten, widen, also improve or close up any existing town public way or part thereof, and whereas the primary objective of this initiative is to guide pedestrians to safer, more clearly defined crossing points, thereby promoting predictable behavior for both pedestrians and motorists. And whereas the materials used for these crosswalks will be high quality, durable, and highly visible, designed to ensure accessibility and enhance safety for all pedestrians, including those with low vision and disabilities. And whereas this initiative is a fundamental step in the town's movement to more sustainable living, directly supporting our objectives and creating a more walkable community and fostering a lifestyle that can lead to reduced vehicle dependence and a healthier environment. And whereas the town has determined that the establishment of a network of crosswalks is a key measure of mitigating risk and enhancing the protection of all people from potential danger. And whereas the town's plan to install crosswalks to all suitable intersections recognizes that safety and engineering considerations may preclude the installation of a crosswalk at every intersection. And whereas the mayor and council have previously provided legislative approval for the crosswalk initiative, with the procuring authority supported by resolution 2025-09 to be implemented in multiple phases. And whereas the town recognizes its responsibility to be fiscally prudent and intends to pursue all available grant funding from federal, state, and county levels, including programs such as Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A grant program, the Maryland Highway Safety Office, and HSO grants, and the Maryland Department of Environment grants for walkable communities to secure the necessary resources for this initiative. Now, therefore, be it ordained and enacted by the mayor and council of the town of Capitol Heights that pressing need for pedestrian safety and the promotion of sustainable walkable communities throughout Parktown necessitates the formal codification of the crosswalk initiative, which shall be legally binding upon passage. Be it further ordained and enacted in Chapter 8, Article 3, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Town of Capitol Heights Code of Ordinances is hereby amended by adding a new section to be designated as Section 308 to read as follows. Establishing a series of permanent marked crosswalks and hereby established at all suitable intersections on town public ways within the corporate limits of the town of Capitol Heights as identified in the maps titled Town of Capitol Heights, Town Streets, attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated into this ordinance. The location and design of these crosswalks shall be consistent with the plan authorized by Resolution 2025-09, authorizing the implementation of the crosswalk initiative and shall include installation of new or updated curb ramps at all applicable locations to ensure accessibility in accordance with state and federal law. The term town public laws shall not include public ways under the authority of the Maryland State Highway Administration of Prince George's County. Phase implementation. The implementation of the crosswalks listed in Exhibit A shall be executed in phases as funding becomes available and is determined by the town administrator. All crosswalks installed in subsequent phases shall be considered legally established and enforced upon their completion and marking on the street. Right of way. All vehicles shall yield to the right of way to a pedestrian crossing in a legally marked crosswalk in accordance with the laws of the state of Maryland. Penalties. Any violation of this section shall be municipal infraction and punishable by a fine not to exceed the maximum penalty prescribed by state law for municipal infractions. State fines for failure to yield to pedestrian and crosswalk can range from $80 to $500, with higher fines and imprisonment possible if the violation contributes to an accident. Implementation and enforcement. The town administration in collaboration with the Neighborhood Services Department and its director and the town of Capitol Heights Police Department will serve as key partners in the successful implementation and enforcement of this ordinance. The town administrator and the Neighborhood Services Director, working together, will be responsible for long-term maintenance of the crosswalks and for implementing a public education program to promote awareness and ensure their effectiveness. The police department, in its duty to preserve public peace and ensure town ordinances, is responsible for enforcing this section, including all provisions related to pedestrian right-of-way and associated penalties. Be it further ordained and enacted that in any section, subsection, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is for any reason held to be invalid, such decision shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Be it further ordained and enacted that the mayor and council affirm their commitment to accessibility for all residents. It is the intent of this governing body that all official public documents, including ordinances and resolutions, will be made available in a format that is accessible to individuals with disabilities, and that all public infrastructure projects will be designed and implemented to meet or exceed accessibility standards. Be it further ordained and enacted that in accordance with the town charter, a fair summary of this ordinance shall be published at least once in a newspaper having general circulation within the town prior to the date of its passage. A fair summary of this ordinance shall also be published at least once within 10 days after the date of passage. This ordinance shall become effective at the expiration of 20 calendar days following its passage by the mayor and council. Exhibit A, Town of Capitol Heights Town Street Maps. This exhibit is the Town of Capitol Heights Town Streets Maps, which details all intersections of the town public ways within the appropriate boundaries. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council as reviewed and request and agree that this ordinance takes effect immediately upon its adoption.
Into the work session, you don't make any motion. You do a straw, just open the floor, council report. Any comments on that? I think we already did it, didn't we? Councilman Chu. Yes, ma'am. I just have a quick question. How are you gonna determine what the fees? Because each violation carries a different fee. Is that fee determined by our police department? Or what is that fee determined by? Because say for instance, somebody get hit within the crosswalk, what is that fee for that? Or if there's an accident or something, I don't know, within the crosswalk, what are the different fees?
That can also be inclusive, just to note it here, but our police officers can support me. Will take the add to it inside, but First Georgia County already has the set of fees.
So we
would just
narrow
incorporate.
that fees?
Okay. So we can just attach that to this ordinance, just to be safe, but I'm sure our police officers know what those fees are, but just for information purposes, we can attach it
Which one are they?
to the ordinance.
Okay, it's two of y'all, which one? Okay, I get a question, I give you board, right? Well, you answer it, okay, Councilman Weaver.
I propose that we not put the fees in here because this is it is an ordinance. And they may change from year to year. What we can note that, something with the fact that we mirror whatever the current Prince George's County fees are.
Okay. I think I have to put something in here that is county, 80 to 500, that's the range, that's what I put in there.
Change based on.
Yeah.
That's good, I put something to change based on
Yeah.
Prince George's County. And like the typo, but I'll do those typos.
Well,
Where are those two typos? I didn't see them.
Director, yeah, I put resolution. I had a lowercase director.
Okay.
And so we'll just, council, is everybody ready to put that up? Well, it's already done. Put it on the next public meeting? Yeah, okay.
Well, I think the, Councilman John.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you,
Yeah.
want to say something?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, so,
I think that was speaks, the intersections need to be located on this exhibit. Because that's a added exhibit.
Oh, why?
Or street of maps.
Yeah, I just include the map.
The intersection should be highlighted of where you put the markers. Where you put the stripes. The crosswalks.
Oh, okay,
They
so-
need to be indicated on this map.
Okay, so that's what I was saying before. Okay,
Okay, where it should be incorporated in
Okay.
this.
thank you.
I just want to say that, this morning I came out and I saw my crosswalks, I guess they were done over the weekend. And they look very nice, so thank you. They are beautiful, they're bright, I should be yellow or something for the nighttime, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and my neighbors have immensely, liked it, they've said that they liked it, and, we see the changes y'all making, it's really good to be done.
Because some of the residents are actually emailing us, telling us how they like it, how much they like it. It's really nice, really nice. Councilmember Rita?
I do.
Councilman Lee,
Just to piggyback to recognize the town staff who take up part in making it happen too, your work ethic and time. Administration. Thank you.
Yeah. That is true. Okay, you got it, Councilman Amanda?
Sure.
Councilman Amanda's gonna talk about the tribe, right?
Yeah, so this was presented at the last meeting, and I asked if you had any feedback for, the documents that were presented. I haven't received anything. We do meet on Wednesday, at 4 o'clock to review those changes from all municipalities that have submitted any changes or desires or feedback. So if you have any feedback, you have another day and a half to get it to me, so that the JPC members can work with that. Tia Ryan, I do see she added in the budget line items. Yes. Numbers as well as the amounts, so everything is the same except, under expenditure amendment. It would be to transfer $4,491.05 from budget line item 43192 fiscal year 2025 rollover, which has a current balance of $20,000, to the budget line item 51901 20743 collision fiscal year 2026 budget, which has a current balance right now of $0, for the purpose of providing the town of Capitol Heights municipal contribution towards the 20743 coalition 2026 budget in accordance with the executed agreement. So I'm assuming that if all goes well on Wednesday and Saturday, that we could pass this resolution at our next public meeting.
Councilwoman Chu. You, Councilman Amanda? I did have a question at our last meeting when you guys showed us a, spreadsheet. And it had grant information on their money, and then it had the money from the different municipalities. And then I asked, was the mirror coming from that line item, because it looked like all of it was together. So it's not showing separate, like the mirror coming from the grant. It shows that the money was all pulled together and it's coming from one area. So that was one of the things I asked if they can clarify on, because they had everything lumped up in one account. So I don't know if because I asked, are we paying for it? And you said no. Councilwoman Anita said no, it's coming from the grant. But the way they gave us the spreadsheet, it looks like the grant and the funding from the different municipalities is all in one bucket. So that's why I asked the question.
It's there, but that's the mirror is being paid by the grant and not being paid by the money that the municipalities are giving.
Right, so my only thing is, can they differentiate the two? So you have a line item for the grant and then a line item for the money's coming from the municipalities.
Really, if I can, we can bring it up. It's still the same because it's not coming out of our money.
Right, but when you do a report and you report out on it, it just makes it look that way. You don't want people to assume that, okay, all of it's together. So you want to distinguish what's a grant and what's not a grant.
Councilmember Miller.
Okay, Councilman.
Yeah, just to talk about you, it is separated in, but the money is allotted for. But we could definitely have Wednesday just ask them to present it in a different table or graph to make it more profound. So that's no problem. Fine. I do that.
Okay, I have a question. I have a meeting, I got a meeting with Pepco about some of the lights missing in this town that we paid for. And it's at 3 on Wednesday. So you said it's virtual too? I'm trying to figure out how I can overlap them.
The meeting on Wednesday is just the JPC. It's virtual.
That's your group,
Yeah.
right? So, okay,
And then
so
the meeting on Saturday for everyone.
that's the big one.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
If you vote for it.
So I'm okay, I don't need to, Wednesday, I don't need to work. Okay, thank you. I got a little confused. Okay, and you did say before Saturday, but my mind. Thank you. Okay. All right.
I just want to make,
Yes, ma'am.
is that ceremony still Thursday?
Yes, 9:30 a.m. sharp.
Mm-hmm. Are we supposed to wear anything particular?
Fabulous.
Ma'am.
Yes, for the altar.
I, was talking to several government people, RDA, housing authority, just in general. And based on the conversations I was having, had nothing to do with this. But I said, when y'all go to these type of events and you go to the different municipalities, I just asked them, I said, how do most of the mayor and the council dress? Because I dress down a lot. Everybody knows that I dress down a lot. And both individuals said, actually it was two ladies and one man, different times. All of them said business casual at least. That is what is expected. So I'm just telling you, normally I'm not wear my shirt, my t-shirt and stuff, but I'm gonna dress. So that's my answer to someone I got. Instead of us just wearing our t-shirts, but you want to wear it, right? You're done. Yes, sir.
Who is this? No, what is it? I don't even know what she's talking about.
That was in,
We did put it in.
Point of order. I'm not trying to sound snarky, but we stick to the agenda, keep moving around.
she's right. We're off the agenda. She's right. Okay, okay, I need somebody to make a motion to close this, work session and go into public, please. No, not
You
yet.
have the contract. Talk about the contract.
It's not the contract.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody got the contracts? All right. Where we are is, I'm gonna put it as simply as can be. I asked for it in writing. I asked for it to go to the attorney. He said, what did you ask for in writing? Because the contractor has said that due to the tariffs, which we know have not taken place yet, Councilman Chu reminded me of that. They're not even in place yet, that they needed to go from 1.1 to $1.8 million. We don't have that. And that's insane. And that's for the police station. And the square footage of the building and everything else, that's an insane amount of money for that. I mean, that's just straight up. That's just, we have an architect here on the council too. That's insane. So, I called, and asked, what could I do with the treasury? And ARPA, there's all these different portals I go through. What could I do? Because the contract is under something else. And that's the contract when they audit, I have to give them a copy of that contract. So they told me how fast could I get something done? Because I'm running out of time, period, for everything. Not me, the town. Because again, they like to remind me we've had the money since 20. So I put out 4. Oh, I said, can I do it without putting out an RFP? That's what I said. Can I do it without putting out an RFP? Because that'll take a long time. They said, if you put out a bid package, you have to do 3. I said, can I do a sole source? They said, no, you have to put out 3 because this is government. You have to put out 3. So I put out 4. So what you have is 2 that I've gotten, and the other one, John, whatever his name is, Jonathan, he told me on the phone that he was not sure because he didn't know what his time frame was to get the bid to us. So these are the 2 I have. And those are, what is that? Now, legally, that's another thing we will have to discuss with the attorney, because I view this as forfeiture or breach of contract. This is a very serious thing because this is government funds. And unless they say we could do it, there's no window, we have to give back the money. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So these are the 2 I've got. And I did ask, what's his name? I put him in there, whenever I wrote in my email, I had it in photos. I did ask that, the gentleman, Jonathan, I think his name was Jonathan. I did ask him, what was he thinking, curiosity, and he's up there like 1.6, 1.7. Just to tell you that as well.
Councilwoman,
Yes, ma'am.
For these two, do we have any references or regarding what the type of work they've done? Or have they done any type of work for any other town? or
Yes.
municipality?
You get one that's been in business for like 40 years.
Come in. Mhm.
Councilwoman Jim,
Oh, yes, sir.
have we acquired the permits yet for this project?
Yeah, we're at 98.
No. Have we acquired the permit? Do we have it in our possession? The permit. From DEPA.
Well, I don't have anything.
Yeah, we.
Okay, you want copies of them? Okay, sure. But
And I see in the scope here, they're referencing those drawings, so we need to see these sheets. They referencing sheets made by,
Yeah.
Gail.
Uh-huh.
So that's their scope of work.
Yeah,
So
And
we
they
need to
will-
see the quarters, especially structural. I don't see any structural here. I see symbols, I see architectural, mechanical. Yeah, I don't know what ID is. I see fire. Okay. Yeah, we need to set of drawings.
you mean from Gail?
No, I'd rather have it from DPAC, because they've been approved by DPAC.
But that's got nothing to do with picking the
It
contract.
does. It does. It does.
Victor, I don't think you understand.
I don't think you
I'm not being,
understand.
no,
Yeah,
I'm not being sarcastic.
I know I'm not being
We have to
sarcastic.
have a contractor because the money is at risk. So we can get these things, they will give you the scope of work. I understand that part. And part of the reason that
But can we not just go and select contractor? We only have two. Looks like we need to do it.
no, I had to put out bid packages, I needed to 4. We don't respond, I still put out 4.
So we are the other four, you think?
I only got 2 back. You can put out 30 bid packages if they don't choose to bid, so we can do about that. I had to put out,
So what we put out, so I don't have to be put out.
You got it.
What did we put out? The council, what did we put out? For the bid.
Gail sent out a bid package, she's our architect, to 4 names I gave her.
So we can copy what she put out, that's the last with the bids, that was. That's what you're saying?
A bid package is the architectural plans, that's what it is.
So if we put that out for people to respond, can the council see that?
Sure.
Okay, what was put out?
It's a bid package, you have to look at her design, her package, that's what he's talking about.
Councilwoman,
Mhm.
how far are, I know you said 98% as far as getting our permits. One, what is the holdup? 2, how long before we'll get them? 3, how to expedite in getting them? So we can have everything at hand, because we're behind already on our previous or initial schedule.
That is true.
And I know everybody keeps saying DPI is behind, DPI backed up, DPI. But at some point, somebody's higher up in DPI to make stuff happen. If we've done what we needed to do and dotted our i's and crossed our t's, then maybe they need to get some fire up under their compost.
We're at 98%. DPI is not just us. DPI is any project you go on. That project up there is waiting, they've been over a year on the corner. with all the dig around it. They've been over a year waiting. So what I'm saying, it's not unusual because they are a problem. Since Great Boy's gotten in, things are supposed to be moving faster. Supposed to be moving faster. And I'm hoping within 30 to 45 days, we should be where we should be.
Okay, what,
So, and we use an expediter, that's what they call them, expediters. Everybody use expediters, yeah, they are using an expediter.
my next question, when you all speak of 98%, what does that encompass, number one? Number two, and I spoke to you last week about this,
Yeah.
by us being on furlough, the Treasurer Department, to my knowledge, is not essential, so they should be closed as well. But, you know, you were supposed to follow back up with the videos to see if we can get that extension.
No, only 800 out of their 2,000 employees is for them. They're open. Yeah, they're open.
Councilmember Mina.
But, okay, go ahead, Councilman.
So what is, okay, what does 98% look like? When you're saying that 98% of the stuff that's in at DEP has been approved? And what does that encompass? Like, you know, what's
That would be like Councilman Jameson's thing, drawings. He wants to see the stamp. That's what he wants, because that's how, he is correct. They have, our drawings is like the last stage of DPI approving. All the chemical, all the architectural things that go into a building, those permits have been approved. But like Councilman James is saying, he wants to actually see the permits on the drawings to see where we are with that. I understand. Yeah. So, and we can get that from her.
But those won't, if we get them from her, those.
No,
will
he
not-
wants to see them.
But if we get them from her, those are not, they won't be approved.
No, he wants to see where they should be approved. That's how,
So
you know,
that portion has been approved by DEP?
that's what you're asking, because she said we're at 98%.
That question is.
Yeah.
Now, the drawings, after drawings that's gone to DEP, have they been approved? Or are they the other 2% that needs to
I
be?
think that's the other two.
So if she gave us any drawings, they wouldn't be approved. Because those are her original drawings or.
Well, she's not gonna really give you too much because you see, a lot of their stuff is patented, so whatever the word is. But I'm gonna, the last word she said when I spoke to her. I have it all again. But the bottom line is, it wouldn't matter who did it. If you don't get DPI's approval, it's not gonna go anywhere. That's the bottom line. And nobody is holding it up on this thing because people, it's no value to a contract to hold it up. They want to get paid. That's no value to them to hold up a contract.
I understand that.
And I was just trying to explain that to everybody. No value to them to hold it up. So,
But if we get in bed with a contractor and stuff hasn't been approved, now they got us hanging over a barrel.
little bit,
You know, we into a contractor thing. And our stuff is, so if, when DPI rejects it, I'm just playing devil's advocate hypothetically, if they reject it, then we're gonna definitely run out of time using that money, obligating that money. And we gotta go back to the drawing board, getting some approved things, and if DPI's slow walking us now, what they gonna do if we have to get some new drawings?
so be going back to the drawing board and you're telling the residents why we don't have the renovation. Because we don't have money. So you're not going back to a drawing board, you'll have no money to go back to the drawing board with.
Okay, then you gotta tell me why we don't have no money.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. You have two contractors and we're near the end of getting everything done. And you want Gail to come in for a briefing, I can ask her to come in and break it down to the council.
Or we just need it.
Yes,
And she
so,
don't need
yeah,
to-
but I understand what you're saying.
98% is 100%. I don't know what's the hold up. With DPI, 98% is 100. They need to issue the permit. Stop playing games.
Well, if you can go up there and get it, I'd love for you to go, because they got it expedited. I'm not being expedited.
And next to that.
Yes.
So
We've
like,
had, Gail has gone up there.
something else is going on. It shouldn't be held up at 98%.
I'm just telling you. the truth.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I need,
I'm just,
yeah, I'm not killing the messenger.
yeah. So now,
I have a question. So any insight, TA, from other municipalities, how they're moving forward with their construction, with DPI?
In general, consensus, the DPI takes a while, because obviously there's a lot of backup and so forth. But in this situation, I'm just gonna make a comment. What Councilwoman Anita said, you know, you don't want them to hold you over a barrel. Can we not select one of the contractors, get them to give you the references and so forth, and make a notation in line that says, you know, this is contingent, meaning we're not gonna pay you unless we get our permits. So that way we can select the contractors. Does that make sense? No, we don't hold anything up, we can move forward.
whatever you want to do, but we are under the gun.
Yeah, so I just don't wanna lose the money or the opportunity. And then we could, like, well, in fact, one sentence says we're not doing it until this is done. So then, like Councilwoman Anita said, we won't be hold fire down, then mayor can select, you know, the right person to go do it. And just, you know, for the DHCD event, I invited the director of, well, of the works will oversee the, he's coming. So you all can just talk to that gentleman.
Beat him up.
You guys can. You guys can. I just don't wanna lose this opportunity.
I don't want to.
So I agree with, and I'm in total agreement with what, TA, it's into, or TA just proposed that we do a contingency clause in either one, whichever one we select at this point. I say golden ratio builders. Because the other one is about what our current ones are trying to help us out on. And I agree. Even though we don't want to be, you know, we don't want to look at the dollar amount per se, to make, we do, but we don't want to look at the dollar amount to make our decision, because just because they may give us low quality work. And so, we 6 in one and a half a dozen in the other, but considering our position at our current situation or position and money, I still say, you know, we need to go with golden ratio builders. And they can do what it do with the contingency plan.
Yeah, contingent clauses that you don't pay you anything unless that happens, so, would that make sense there, and one place there?
Councilmember Manga.
Yes, Councilman.
Thank you. Mayor, I have a few questions. Help me understand. First of all, our current contracting company is called what again?
MNR.
MNR. Mary Nancy Randy.
Yeah, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, so they are, how much of money have we given them so far?
We paid them for a little over 100,000.
That was for drawings and.
No. The drawings, well, yeah, I take that back, because it was designed and built, because they paid, the architect for that. So you're correct. We paid him for that. Also, the trailer was $60K. The sidewalk, the pavement, what was that? 30? What was that? Pavement?
And
No, I think it was in the thirties. So you got 60, 30 something.
What does that have to do
We're
with
talking
that?
about the police station.
Yeah, it's on police station.
But that part of their contract was that to get the trailer in that part up there too. That was one.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Actually, it's not us to.
Okay, so the NSD lot, the design to build,
Remember.
A lot less.
And then the last thing we paid was for the
Yeah,
underground and all that. Remember? Councilman?
Rolling in there.
That was like 30K.
Yeah.
So for 1.1 million, we have not paid them a lot.
No, because you have to separate. between
No,
the
I'm
lots
just
that-
telling you, that's not a lot of money for a 1.1 million contract.
And also, let's be honest, that was separated. That was a lot and that was a police station. We didn't really.
But it was still in the bid.
Yes.
so the 100,000 covered those three things we just talked about.
About approximately, a little bit more.
Not every.
So my question is, are they going to give up all of like the documents and the things that the planning that they provided? But the reason I'm asking is like when I look at this contract with, Golden Ratio Builders, you know, it has their suspension or termination for performance breach. You know, they say that the event services are suspended or terminated. GRB has no obligation to deliver documents and any consequences, including delay resulting from such suspension or termination. So I just need clarity, like, what is our attorney's perspective on this? How are we protecting ourselves? Are we going to be able to get all these documents and plans?
Here's what you got. You got one phase. You can do the contract. There is a law in effect. It affects all of us. We have what, 10 days, whatever, to cancel contract? Whatever that law is. You can do the contract and you can ask them for a scope of work immediately. Ask them for their scope of work with their schedule.
So are we gonna have to pay them to redo what we already
No.
paid,
No,
M&R to do?
no,
So M&R is going to release that.
they would have to.
Yeah,
They're breaching
we
they're breaching the
already paid
contract
them.
right now.
We paid them.
once you pay it.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure that we're sure about that in our contract, that we're able to get that. Not just assuming. Has our lawyer looked over the contract?
I sent him everything. Yes, yeah.
Have you given any feedback yet?
These exclusions, Councilman, these exclusions we have. These exclusions we have in our possession.
Oh, okay.
Do you see the exclusions on here? In the contract plan? We have these. Like for the elevator shaft.
Okay.
The furniture and stuff have yet to come though, because that's in the, that's in the phase after you build it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we shouldn't anticipate that yet.
Yes, sir.
So that should come through there.
So the plans and specifications by W Architect Group dated 8/22/25 to include all these drawings in the list of. It's already in our possession. Those are theirs.
Come on, the scope of work.
Yes,
Yes.
on Golden
Yeah.
Regional Building.
Yeah. Well, they're submitted, we don't have a hard copy. I like to have a hard copy.
But W architect is Gail, and she won't happen to share that information with us.
And even if we didn't have them, we can always get the copies because it's issued to us.
Yeah, we paid for that.
So if they tried to do a trick when it's not gonna help us, we can always get them.
So Councilman,
And M&R is not willing to lower their prices at all.
No, they upped it again.
No.
It was 1.7, then they went to 1.8.
how did you do that for contract? I'm not just.
I'm just telling you what they did.
How do you do that for contract?
They said that because, let me break it down this way. Yeah, I know that's a trouble. They said, part of this is understandable to me. It was 1.1. When we added the third floor for the Boys and Girls Club, they said, we'll give you a price. We just can't tell you what it's gonna be now. So I'm like, well, okay, what do you think it'll be? Oh, we think maybe we might have to go up to maybe 1.3. So I'm looking at logic, because, Councilman James, I'm just, anybody, it's not like you're starting the foundation up. You know what I mean? That's the heavy, you know what I'm getting at. So I said, well, I said, so 1.3, I'm thinking in my mind, okay. So the next thing I know, he tells me verbally, a little over a week ago, well, not quite 2 weeks ago, that we've been looking at the plans that Gail did. And some of this, the architect, I have to say, Gail, in other words, Gail scaled it up to a level that they're saying, for example, the lights is $235 for each light when they priced it out, and all these different things. Whereas if you do it without the design bill, you do it all at once. But the logic was, since we didn't have a strong budget, we would do the design bill so our budget would be kept intact. As opposed to just saying, here's the designs and it's gonna be a fortune and you can afford it. So they're coming to me, Mr. Pendergrass is saying, well, yeah, but Gail's design is more than we anticipated. And the first one was, with all these tariffs, it's just gonna cost us, products are gonna go up, and this, and I said, I know things have gone up a little bit. But you want us to pay 1.1 for 2 floors, and then that he's 8, and then you want us to pay 7 for 1. I mean, the logic just doesn't even make any sense.
So,
Yes.
Yeah. So I said, no. So where are we here? And so I told you this already, Treasury, whatever, anybody, or whatever, I got so many portals. I called them and told them the dilemma. I can't make them do it. So then I said to them, what if they just do the 1.1 million and do the second floor, and we go and get somebody to do the third floor? What about that? Well, no, we don't know now. I said, because we were doing the town a favor. And I heard that we were doing the town a favor because we wanted to, get the work in your town, so we would be favorable if you got some more work. So we really wanted to do you a favor because we should have had the price higher than that. So since we haven't broke ground on the project, the logic is, I'm not happy with them anyway. And I'm gonna see if we can sue them. I don't know that. I just sent the whole package to him. Whatever they wrote, I sent it. Whatever they did, I sent it to Brad. So, but the point is, in the meantime, we need to get a contractor.
And is it possible, can TM send us the signed contract within the month?
She already did. You all have it. Can we look at it again?
Of course, I can send it to you as you have.
Yeah, because she said it to me.
I'll just now.
and the RFP that was sent also.
There was no RFP.
I thought that's what you just said.
No, it was a bid package. A bid, you want to explain it better than I can?
No, you explain it well.
Thank you.
Boy does not understand.
Okay, a bid package is the architectural plans.
I thought you said, I'm saying when you
Uh-huh.
said,
No, I didn't say,
what do we,
because an RFP, we don't have time for an RFP.
I know, I thought you said. you had to do an
RFPs can be
RFP.
30
We
to
don't-
90 days. It's 30 to 90 days. And we don't have 30 to 90 days. And I was told, no, we don't, because they don't do these things. The point is, your contract, that's why I gave you a deadline.
So it's be a package, okay, so let me restate that, can we see?
So the
Oh,
bid
a
package,
bid.
When you go so certain source.
No.
That you don't do it.
yes.
Yes, if we could.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I had to ask Gail to send out And the things have their things telling you, it's that they responded to it, it's whatever's on there, I sent you the full emails from everybody. So,
I'm talking to bid pack, that's all I want, just a bid package in there.
Yeah. the bid package is the drawings. That's what I'm trying to tell you, it's the drawings, unless you know how to read architectural
That's
drawings.
acceptable.
Oh, that's why he
Oh,
listed.
yeah.
That's a bid package.
Oh, that's why he listed
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, okay.
As the scope of work is.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
That's acceptable.
So that's.
This is contract talk, it's a bid package, that's what goes out, and they do a bid on that.
So you do a bid on some stuff that was done by the other contractor, say, hey, this is.
No,
what
no,
we're
no,
gonna do.
the architect,
For the architect,
Uh-huh.
who we paid $100,000 to.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
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 yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So no wording, no nothing, it's just that.
Those are words.
the drawings?
The drawings are.
yeah, the drawings.
Yeah, specifications, all that is.
Oh,
Yeah. You gotta be able to-
Yeah, they have door schedule, I mean, they have all kinds of
Yeah.
schedules, yeah.
And they figure out based on those drawings, how much it's gonna cost them to
Exactly.
build.
Mhm.
Square footage,
Yeah,
all that's in there.
that's how they bid.
My purpose for wanting to see it, I wanna see the coordination between disciplines. I wanna make sure everything, overlays properly.
Yeah.
Just as an extra set of eyes. That have our interests, that's the time.
Okay, all right. Councilman Neal, you said your straw poll is Golden, Ratio Builders.
That's not my thing. I don't know.
Well, it's a straw poll, because we're gonna close out, and go to publish.
Yeah, but I thought we was gonna get the, insight for the attorney, we wanna hear what he has to say, right? Not for the contract.
No, we just need to know a contractor.
So we can get out there. So why are we doing the research?
No, she's talking
No,
about the
I got other contracts.
that's totally the separate company.
That's
So a contract period, can we have, this is a lot of money,
She's
so,
trying to get that.
what do you think it's gonna cost to build?
I know.
I'm not being sarcastic.
Listen to what I'm saying.
He's gonna put the contingency on there, Councilman
Yeah,
Neal they said. Yeah,
So no matter who we choose,
Exactly,
yeah.
nobody will be paid
that's right.
until we get.
We haven't paid the other builders, we paid them.
Hey,
That was for like the trail.
Okay, so what I'm saying, so will the
That lot,
attorney still be, all I'm
that
asking,
fence,
will this still be sent by to the attorney for review?
They don't need to be.
He already had, he already.
just email stuff to everybody.
It doesn't need to be.
No, it's.
Why would
because
we want a $1.4 million
Because.
contract review by
Until we
attorney?
make a
We
payment,
haven't
don't
paid
matter. That's what they're saying.
We wanted to come.
No, we're not going
It's
into contract.
contingent on what? It's contingent on the attorney reviewing?
When DPOW not gonna let anything sit over it. So when they get, we gonna pay extra money if we get the attorney to look at it for now.
Yeah,
It's useless to have them look at this.
it's a development contract.
It goes to.
Yes. Anybody.
I understand how we want our attorneys to look at an ordinance, but we want to spend $1.4 million.
Yeah, you know what, that's the.
I understand that, but we had a contract before, and look where we are.
You know, we're not getting bad with this guy. We're not getting in bad with this guy. It's contingent to me getting rid of that.
Right, so the same thing with but it wasn't had anything to do with the permits with the other contractor.
No.
It's just word of mouth stuff happening, and he just like backed off the contract, right? He's like,
No, we got permits through them as well. I thought Gail and then you need a lot of permits. It's not just one permit. Oh, you're thinking you only need one permit.
no, I didn't say anything about permits. What I'm talking about is the contract. Each contract, he's backing out. This, the one before, MR,
No, he not back.
MNR.
He backed himself out by upping his price.
But the contract we initially had was 1.1.
He saw it
He said
smelled
he
that.
wanted to sue him.
Listen to me. The contract that this town went into was 1.1 million. Because the town wanted to make changes to that contract and accepted verbal acceptance, then we want to sue him. But the contract itself, the town went into, say 1.1.
So can they not do that, or can they do that? And so who would be in the right for that or
But we
wrong?
have an agreement with the second price before.
Who, what type of agreement? And with who? Who?
Where's the agreement with her?
Did you not read the ordinance?
That's what I have, it was before that. She said it's verbal, the third floor is a verbal.
Because,
Oh.
Have anything to say?
because they couldn't give a quote until they got Gail's plans. In the meantime, in order, they couldn't see construction, let me try to put it this way. You know how, okay, they couldn't, they would have had to do a work stoppage, period. Because they could not deal with the foundation to say we could do the third floor until they waited for me to say, we got the money. So what they did was, they set up the building so we could do the third floor. And their guesstimate was maybe 1.3 million. That was their guesstimate. But when they got Gail's plans, it's a design build, when they got the architect's plans, their version now is, oh, it's gonna cost more than that because, you know, the stuff she has in there is so expensive. So I said, we can scale it down some, which we can. We can scale it down some. So,
And for the bid package, please? Okay. I was just saying, we still are in a contract for 1.1, the written contract that they don't have a problem with doing.
no,
But with the added verbal, it's something totally different.
they don't want to do the work, period, now, because the whole structure for them is one thing. And that's how it's designed.
To Ford's point though, but to Ford's point, we still obligated to them.
Right, that's what I'm gonna say. Do we have something in writing that states
I
that
got
they
it
were
in
not?
writing.
Okay, we have something in writing that states that they were not
Yeah.
working on
No,
that
if
project?
anything, we could go after them.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we want to see it. Don't you want to-
No, I'm asking for it. We have something in writing that state that they were not, they have broken the contract.
If they would do it for 1.7 or 1.8, yes. It's in writing.
Okay, but what I'm saying is there's something that state that we will not be liable because we got another contractor.
No, I don't remember seeing that. I'm not gonna tell you something I didn't see. But the point is, they're trying to get off the hook, so they're the ones breaching it, not us.
Can we just have our lawyer give us the reassurance and the expertise that we're doing the right thing?
Let me go ahead and put the Lord in.
The money's gone. I'm not.
No, the money's
solving
not
it.
gone, man.
I'm not. No. There's nothing you can do. The contract, if you put a contingency or you wanna say, I have so many hours to terminate it. All those things you can do with a contract.
Right.
So,
Councilman
but right now, I got nothing to send the government and they, okay.
Councilman Chu, I still would like to vote on a contractor, but we're not gonna go in agreement with that contractor until we finalize our ties with what's it? MSR. Yeah, and so we can still select the contractors from here. However, we have to put in a contingency that states,
Yeah.
we will not, first of all, pay anyone until we finalize the drawings or whatever it is, scope of work,
Yeah.
and we have a written letter
Yeah.
that, sever ties with in our. In our.
No, it's the one with the two letters.
Yeah,
One is a sub to the MP.
and the reason why I say that is because once that's done, then we can go ahead and move forward. It won't stop the process, and then we won't lose the money.
Yes.
So we want to make sure we at least have something in place so those things happen. But we're not giving up any money So we're still in a clear, because we're not giving up any money.
And just so everybody knows, we haven't given up any money. What we paid for was what we got.
Who we get?
And they're working on
Right,
it
that's
now.
right.
They're working on it now.
That's true.
Yeah, but that, we have
So,
to do that.
so I'm just trying to tell everybody, so you understand.
We're not
We
losing.
haven't lost any money. Okay, take a straw.
No, we don't, I mean, I didn't hear you say anything about the attorney reviewing our situation, period.
Yeah, that's what I just
That's
said.
the
That's simple.
I didn't hear that part, the attorney. So, can you restate it, please? You said, no, what you said was the permits. And you said we won't be paying out any money until we sever ties with them. You didn't say anything about our attorney.
Yes, I said no. We have a letter stating that our ties, we have to see a letter stating that our ties have been severed from NPR, whatever. And that comes from the attorney. That comes from the attorney. They would, yeah.
Pacific.
Okay, okay.
You said coming
Yeah,
from
okay.
in our case, in our, in R, but that's fine. Letter from attorney?
Yes.
Or if these people MPD. No.
Yeah, they.
Provide us forms.
But even if they provide us a letter, I still want our attorney to read it.
Okay, of course, right.
Make sure we're not.
That's right.
Yeah,
Because
of
they can
course.
come back.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping you guys will still vote for a contract.
Yeah, but we don't continue. Yeah, with those continue.
We don't.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who put the motion? You did. Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Can I just have one friendly thing to that? Can we just give this, the contractor that we choose, can we just give that to the attorney to the court?
I did.
Okay, there's no comments.
Mm-mm.
If you can put that.
Because I said more than that to the attorney, because he gave the whole schedule, he gave the time frame, he gave a really big package. The other one, she did her schedule and stuff, but it wasn't really that much. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he said no change.
but now remember, he hasn't gotten back with me about the breach of contract. That was a big deal to me. So, yeah, I'm concerned. So all your things I can, TA Ren can tell him, because I did send him their little package when they wanted to, you know, I told him I needed something in writing, and I said, send it to the attorney.
Yeah.
So what you'll need, yeah, it's a motion was there a motion on the floor? Was there a
Yeah,
motion?
the most, Councilwoman, did you want me to do
Somebody.
I move
Contingencies.
I move that we go with golden ratio builders with the contingents clause added in it that, that a contingent clause be added in it, that we will not be, liable for any, the contracting field until we are able to dissolve
Secure the committee.
dissolve our previous contract and secure all permits.
No, you can't say dissolve. You can say not to them,
I said, no, the
not to
previous.
go, not to go.
No, she got that to UTR.
Dissolving the current contract.
You're saying you don't want to write that in a contingency, you want the new contractor.
Oh, you say?
You don't want to say that.
Exactly, you don't.
Don't say that, period.
You don't read that back.
But she's saying in move to go forward, the golden racial contract contingencies is one, that we're not gonna be liable until we dissolve our relationship with a previous contractor and, as well as secure permits. Or maybe, I
You
think
can say
secure
secure
permit,
permit, you can say secure permit,
but maybe some other language where we don't say,
not about them.
no.
No, you
Well,
don't.
that's our problem, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
On this contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take that part out.
Yeah.
That's the solution.
Yeah, you don't talk to them.
If you took that word dissolution, but that would attorney, we craft a letter. But the other one's come on.
So move that we vote, that we select golden ratio builders, with the contingent clause added.
Second.
Okay, so it's a strong, okay, and you, okay, you seconded, okay.
Yes.
It's, wait a minute,
Let me say that the motion is.
say it again.
Well, we don't do a bunch of stuff.
Would you like to know what motion is being done?
I was like, no, the contingencies, that's what I'm, because we can't vote, I mean, we don't do any formal voting anyway, we just wanna know what the contingencies are.
You didn't hear? You didn't hear that? We said
You didn't say- You didn't say anything, what she said was dissolve, then what you said was something. So we just want to hear one person saying what.
Without the dissolve, we
Yeah.
can't discuss this.
Mhm.
Without the dissolve.
And then,
So, okay. I move that we select Golden Ratio Builders as our contract company with a contingent clause that we do not move forward until permits are secured.
I don't see. You say what before?
We're gonna send, or we're gonna send it to.
It's not that in this motion.
Change that everything be sent to our attorney for review.
So she just said it. But you said and, like.
But it's not gonna be in
Right.
the contract.
But we not, this is not for the contract, this is for a motion. This is what the
Okay.
action that the mayor and council is.
Okay. That it move, that it be forward to the attorney, the town attorney.
For response to the mayor and council.
For response to the mayor and council.
Okay. Who seconded? You did.
Victor.
Call the straw and then we'll go out to public.
Okay, Councilmember Amanda Anderson? Yes. Councilmember Anita Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chu?
Yes.
Councilmember Ford?
Yes.
Sorry, Motion for, so I apologize.
Myself,
Then, thank you. And Councilmember Jane?
yes.
And Councilmember Williams? Okay, so.
Okay, we're gonna go out public to that, but Councilman Nita just reminded me we gotta talk about the charter. I put that on there so we can,
Something.
what would be our next, everybody, what would be our next work session? I'm gonna start down here, the charter, no,
Next month.
Like I said,
Councilman Amanda. Or do we have anything for the work session for the tribe? I'm just trying to figure everything out right now. Do we have anything for the tribe we're gonna need in the work session coming up?
We gonna know from our meeting.
Tribe and I'm sorry. I was
on our meeting.
okay, I'm just, okay.
Councilwoman.
I'm gonna go to, I
I
was
just
going,
need to interject one second. We
okay.
won't know that until we go to our meeting on the 11th.
Okay. Now, the reason I said that
Yes or no.
is, if I may, because I'm just trying to see, do we want to add any little things to the things, or do we want to just start going back full-fledged with the charter? I'm gonna ask everybody, because there's always some little things that come up at the work session, but I'm gonna ask everybody what they want to do, and the only reason I said try was because I thought Councilman Amanda might bring something back, but we could always put that on public session. So I'm just gonna ask your feedback. Councilman Amanda?
My feedback is I am supportive of going through the charter. However, I do not desire to go through the charter unless there is an order and a plan how it's going to go through. I do not want to show up and talk for an hour about how we're going to do it. So if someone takes the lead on that and is organized and we have a plan and we show up and we do it, I'm all for it. If that's not gonna happen, then I would rather work on other things.
Okay,
That's my feedback.
yes, ma'am. No, point taken. Councilwoman Chu? Your pro tem Chu?
Ditto.
Okay. Councilwoman Ford?
Well, I'll just take down, a chapter at a time. It's like we have 11, so we have 11 weeks. We'll just add it to the.
We're gonna have,
Yeah,
there's other little things that may come up. You know what I'm trying to say. You're so funny when we look at that.
No, yeah, so we do want to look at the charter like you were saying.
Yeah, so you saying,
Yeah,
anything else to add to that one?
no, I'm in
Okay.
favor of going over the chart.
I'm gonna stop it myself. The only reason I'm saying that is because I spoke with on something else. I spoke with Councilwoman Kaysen. And I said, well, we were talking about the charter, because she's on the HOA. And it was really HOA question, but we got on the charter. And I said, well, it's so confusing because a lot of the things from Fred Sussman was in the charter. So, and some of it, I use your name, I said, I think Councilman Amanda said it was already published with MML. And she said, no, we never approved the charter. And that confused me. So I said, well, now I'm all over the place. So I do think we need to find that out. Really? Yes, ma'am. If you have something to add.
The assessment changes, I don't know anything about, that was before my time.
Uh-huh.
And before I was involved in town business, but the Kevin Best changes that the prior administration made specific charter changes, those are filed.
But there actually are assessments changes. We were reading them. That's what confused me.
They're Kevin Best changes.
All right, okay, we don't have to figure, okay. Like you said, we're gonna have to figure that out then. Councilman Anita?
I am in agreement with what Councilman Amanda put on the floor, that we have some type of, guidance, so we can keep it moving, when you come in here. And I also would like to say, I want to nominate her to do that, to keep us moving.
No, we don't need it, no. We wear her out with stuff, so you always nominate Councilman Amanda. So, work the council, not just Councilwoman Amanda. We're all council people here.
But that is true, Mayor. because
I know.
Some people talk too long,
That's
or
true.
some people can be some people can be very confusing. Some people can be very long-winded. Some people can be very dramatic.
Going down the road, send me to you.
Some people can be very curt. Some people can be very nice. And,
Okay.
so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so what's your comment? You want to do like Councilman Amanda said, right?
And I say make her, I mean, not make her.
Well, we can, when we get to the meeting, see what we've got first with the charter, and then if Councilman Amanda wants to take it on, we'll see what we have, because I don't really think anyone should have to take on something if we're gonna be doing a work session. We should all be accountable for it, not put it on her.
That's true.
Make us all accountable.
Keep us.
No, I'm serious about that. And I know you're willing, you do a lot, but the point is, we're big people. We should be accountable to get there and behave ourselves and get the charter done. But we just don't have to try. Councilman Williams, what's your thought?
I think Council member Amanda, anything that the council do it collectively. I need.
Okay.
Yeah, my, input on it is that we deal with the, charter, the chapter that we take issue with. Opposed to just trying to go by chapter, whatever we have an issue with, we should address that.
That's what Kevin Best said.
Yeah.
He said, nobody just takes on research. Actually,
Yes, ma'am.
if you remember, he was on there, on this particular TV, and he said, you need to have a plan. You don't just go,
Yeah.
your charter is an at-will document. We all know that. It's a living document, whatever you want to call it, not at-will, living document. You don't have to sit and rewrite your whole charter because it's historical document. What you do is the changes you want to do, and I asked everybody what they wanted. And the only things I got from 3 people was we want to do something about the terms, and about the domicile or whatever living in the town. I don't know what the reasoning was. Everybody had that same thing. That's all they seem to want to do in the charter. So my point is, what else do we need to do in the charter? And now back to what Councilman Amanda is saying. Why don't we, instead of saying we're gonna just come to the meeting for the charter, come to the meeting and nobody ever has any ideas. Nobody has any ideas. And so what we need to do is for what we want to change as a group, that's what we do and address the charter. That's how you do a charter. You don't just sit there and say, I'm gonna rewrite the charter. And that's what Kevin Best was saying, when he was sitting right there on that Zoom thing. So we need to identify some of the things that we need to bring up to speed. I know Councilman Ford, you're good at that. Mayor Pro Tem, I mean, Amanda, everybody here to me is good at that. There are certain sections in the charter we need to bring up to date. But to say we need to, especially, one thing he said, you gotta be very careful about the legislative stuff in there. All your, that's where your attorney comes in with all your laws, and remember he said all your changes in the law, because there have been changes. That is where your attorney has to review that document. He said, y'all going all through it, you don't know all this stuff. So I'm saying we should touch on what we really want to review and get that done. As opposed to saying we're gonna take on the whole charter now. Yeah, that's not really a normal thing, but, okay, anything else on that?
Nope. We adjourn.
Okay, can we get a motion to,
So moved.
go out of work session to go to public session?
I move that we go out of public session and go into a second, go out of a work session. Can I do the whole thing, please? Properly? Thank you. I move that we go out of work session and go into special public session. Oh, we going to
Special public meeting.
special public meeting to discuss contractor selection for town hall. We don't need it.
No, but that's a straw. You gotta go to public to vote.
Okay, contractor selection for
That's it.
town hall renovation.
Second.
Second, third, okay, anybody with nay? Okay, all right, so we're going to public session. It is 9:43 on the, what is it, 6th of October?
Yeah.
6th of October. Okay, TA Ren, can you,
It was the 6th of October.
Yes.
can we approve the agenda?
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I get approval for the agenda?
They think they're approved.
There's only one thing on it, which is.
Yeah.
On someone, I want to add something to the agenda.
Meeting for this.
Wait a minute. I can add something to the agenda.
No.
Wait a minute, I just went over, we just had a work session over the sidewalk. Didn't we just have a work session with the contract?
Yeah, but that's what the special meeting is, that's what the public is for that.
No, in my email, I said I wanted to put this on a special meeting, I was clear on my email.
We meet about the next one.
Y'all want
Because
to
you
put that,
have to-
then I'm ready to go. And I already put that on there.
But we already went through it, so it was just
No,
a.
they have
Wait a
it
minute.
on the agenda. Let me chair, please.
I know, but I would like to also say something.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
So since we did do the work session and we did a, straw poll, we need to put it in work in this special meeting, to actually do the vote, to see what needs to take place with these ordinances. We just say.
What session was for?
She wants you guys to.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor.
Wait a minute, you understand what I'm asking? We did a work session for the contracts, right? So we did straw poll. So we come in here and actually do your voting. It's all straw polls in the work sessions. And we just did a straw poll, right, for the sidewalk. Right? And so now we just do the second reading for the sidewalk. And then I have to do this for have the attorney to review, same
contingencies.
No.
We didn't say
No,
that.
that's going to the attorney. That's got nothing to do with going into a second meeting.
But listen to what I'm saying.
No. Council, what do y'all want to do? This- No,
Let's continue with the agenda
No.
and let's move
it was
on.
just for this and that's it.
I asked to put this on the agenda.
But they have to approve it. I mean, sometimes I always say yes, and I always say yes to everybody, but sometimes
Okay, what she's asking for, she just wants us to vote on it?
That's it. We already
we
did
can't
it.
vote on the finance, the attorney hasn't even seen it.
I think she's talking about the crosswalk.
The crosswalk, she's going two.
You know the crosswalk, right?
You just want to vote on the crosswalk,
Crosswalk.
Yeah.
just one thing?
I think she wants to do a crosswalk with those additional, just those small.
If you want to finance, that's a whole different ballgame.
But you still got changes in the crosswalk.
I think.
Yes, she does.
But then was just the two.
Please, we got them up, please, y'all, okay,
Wonderful.
Go ahead, man.
okay,
Councilman Chu.
chill, please, everybody,
Wonderful.
everybody. Thank you.
Excuse me?
So where we are now, on the agenda, we've already gone into public. On the agenda is one item. Councilman Ford, what do you want? You said you want to vote on the sidewalks? On the sidewalks, okay.
Second,
But did we open up, this is the public, what is this?
Special public meeting.
So, what's the format?
Time debate.
This is a regular meeting.
So, no, because we didn't, this is a special public meeting, so we
Yes,
didn't
for that.
call roll, we didn't do none of that, because it's a special meeting. If we vote on that ordinance, then we have to go into an actual public meeting. where we
This is a
have to-
regular meeting, this is a special meeting, is the same thing.
No, the special meeting was just for that.
That's for the contract.
A special meeting is not for us to do that, because we could do that at a regular meeting.
Yeah.
The
It's in the
contracts, no, it's not the same.
But we won't be able to vote then, it's not the
Yeah,
same.
the special meeting, no, is for, because this urgency on the contract, that's why it's called a special meeting.
It's not an emergency meeting, so we can still add to the agenda and still vote. We had special budget meetings.
It's up to the chair to accept.
I
If she
said
don't
no, I
accept
said
it, let's
no.
move.
Now, I always say yes to everything, really. Our meetings go for 99 years. I always say yes, but sometimes it's not about who your buddy, it's what's right. It's what's right. That's not gonna hurt anything if we don't vote on the sidewalks today. I'm not being sarcastic. You already did it. You already got praise for it, for the walkways. The things, but it should be done at a public meeting. This is a special meeting and they're all public. All work session is still public. Okay, I'm gonna call the vote.
Yes,
I'll put this to the side, but I just get some clarity on special meetings and public meetings, because it's a special public meeting, meaning it's not on the regular day of a public meeting.
And that
But
is
it's still
so
a public
true.
meeting
That is so
where we
true.
vote, because we can only vote in a public meeting.
A special meeting is a public meeting. We had to
Right.
come out of the work session into the special public meeting. But we had one thing on that agenda for the special meeting. The motion is on the floor. Can somebody put the motion on the floor for the contract, please?
I just want to say that I submit this to you in a timely fashion, as you stated in our last meeting. You don't want to put it on the special public meeting, but I'll wait for the second meeting, but I just want you to know that is very unfair. I yield.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilwoman Chu, Councilwoman, and did she want to put that motion on the floor?
Oh, about, you gotta say it again for the contractor, please.
I'll say it again.
Oh, you can say it.
Yeah, you just repeat it.
Should put it on.
I'll be glad. Okay, sorry, I have it all written down, sorry about this. A motion to move to go with a golden ratio builder with the contingency of not moving forward until permits are secured. And all contracts to be sent to the attorney for review or response to mayor and council.
Second.
Can you call the vote, please?
Yeah, Councilmember Amanda Anderson. Yes. Councilmember Anita Anderson. Mayor Pro-
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Shu,
Yes.
Councilmember Ford,
Yes.
and Councilmember James, Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the I have it, 6 ayes and 0 nays, approved.
And make sure you have Councilman Ford's, the first thing on the next public meeting, please, put it on that first thing.
Do you want both ordinances? or
Both,
just-
he wants both, am I right?
And then what about resolution 2025-34?
Hers will go on there before we put nothing else on the agenda. Is that okay? Just put our stuff on there.
So basically, 2 ordinances and 1 resolution for the next public meeting.
Yes. Thank you.
Councilwoman Chu, Councilwoman Chu.
Are we closing out? Does that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know your motion.
That's what I'm trying to do. I move that we close out the special public meeting.
Second. Okay, okay. Any nays? Okay. Meeting closed. Everybody?
But everybody, you wanna say this for your month, but they got a problem.
You can't leave
Want
it
to
till
stay late and get everything rectified, and I supported you, and get everything rectified for your humps. For your humps. I even made the whole amendment so we can do the resolution, and you do your humps. But then you just huffing and puffing for me to do these crosswalks, and didn't want to